How now, brown cow?
You're listening to Tap Tempo, and welcome back to the second part of the Producers Roundtable with Calyx and TeeBee, Matt Zoe, 12th Planet, Photek, and me, Matt Lange. In the second part of the conversation, we dig a little bit further into the loudness wars, but we also discuss various techniques that each of us use in our own music. And without further ado, here we go. Creatively, how much is, competing with your contemporary affecting how you write music?
Way too much, to be honest with you. But
and do you feel that it's necessary to do that for yourself?
Well, it all depends what you want to achieve. At the end of the day, how should I put this? No, I don't really want to. Yeah, I kind of do, but at the same time, it is a competition, and you got to make sure that you stand up and I really don't. I mean, that's a broad question I could talk about for like 3 days. I really don't even know where to start. But yeah, in many ways, I feel frustrated because a lot of the stuff that I love as a creative, from a creative perspective, will not work in the context where I want my track to work.
When's that music coming out?
When I have more time on my hands. Like when you can do something, when you've, how should I put this? When I'm going insane, probably, when I need to do it. There's lots of stuff I want to do, and sometimes I get really disillusioned with the genre and everything. But then again, all it takes is one really good gig.
Or a tune you're just buzzing
just
about.
Just one tune that you're buzzing
just,
about, and you cracked it, And you cracked it in a sense that works on all the levels. It works for you, it works for, the way you think music should be, it relates to the public, it stands up sonically. Like, when you can get all those pieces to fit together, it is fantastic. 9 times out of 10, it takes you literally to insanity and back, though, to get there. Like, for anyone making music, don't think it's easy for us. It never gets easier. Like, no matter how long you do this, it never gets easier. There's always going to be another hurdle that comes along. But if you come to terms with that, I think that's the true beauty of being involved in this, is to constantly having to test yourself and if you're not willing to go to extreme lengths, get out of this business, because it's not for you.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Matt's original point about mixing for loudness, I think mixing for loudness forces you to make creative decisions that work more musically as well, because you're thinking about things in terms of frequencies and and you have to be a lot more surgical with it, and it just ends up creating a much more sort of natural sort of sonic landscape anyway, So I think restrictions in general are good. And if the restriction is that it has to have this impact, then that forces you to, be a lot more.
I think in a way we're making quite a big deal of it, and it's something we're conscious of it, but it's ever since we started 19, 20 years ago, loudness was an issue then.
Yeah.
100%. It always has been. It's just a given when you're writing music. So it's not something I feel compromised that much by. It's just, how can you find the right tools, the right way to use them to keep up with the Joneses?
And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
I think it started around 98.
Yeah.
Around 98, 99, around that time. Became a bigger issue.
Right.
Benjamin.
No, Dillinger. Dillinger, though, before that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You would be outside a club and hear a Dillinger tune. That would be the one where all the metal panelling with his subs. You were just like, Dillinger.
I know, but listen back today, though. And you hear the distortion. The crazy distortion, all the ducking. Literally, when the bass hit, the drums will duck 6 dB.
Sounds great.
And it sounds great. Yeah. Well, it did back then anyway, because it was loud. And also, he was one of the ones that figured out, if I'm in F, E, or G, I'm going to blow everyone else out the water. Because we were based mainly on samples. So we'd make a track based around the sample.
Yeah.
And
not even conscious of the
key of the
days.
tune. We just make a tune. But Dylan just sitting in the studio, touching his cones, pressing, oh shit, F, this resonates. I'm going to make 10 tunes in this key, and they will all smash up the club because it's the golden key.
Why E? F and G, I understand.
No, F. It was F. He was saying.
No, it was F. Yeah, but E's fantastic.
Play like plus.
E's the new F.
E's the new F for sure.
But a year ago we said G's the new F, but now actually E is the new F.
E is the new F. Yeah. By far.
Yeah.
By far, most tunes we receive these days are an E.
Really?
No, that's not true either. No, it's F all day long still. It is. It's F. It's F.
Well, no,
when you're skipping through primos fast.
Yeah, there's still, but like from producers I rate lately. It's E's the new F.
When it's a bit more stripped down, if the tune's a bit more stripped down, you got space, the beat's a little bit lighter. You can, and you've got nice harmonics splitting off from just the pure sub.
Yeah, no, I've been writing a lot on D recently for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay,
D's beautiful as well.
The saddest of all keys.
Nice little reference there.
Yeah. This is where I've been going wrong. It's always been D and G for me.
D and G.
So that's why Dillinger has been consistently blowing me away all these years.
Yeah. No, I mean for general, F is what, 46.7 hertz, right?
Yeah.
Well, F is 46.7 hertz, and it's like it will resonate, and it's just in that range where it will.
But I look at that also as 23, and that's why I can't go lower than F, because no one will hear anything below an F.
Yeah, but the thing is, the beautiful thing though, if you go E or D, even, what's D? 30.2.
Sure.
Yeah. So you but come on,
if you're on Pro Q and you literally double click on the frequency, type F1, boom, there you are. Yeah.
No, that's why you know.
I don't know what frequency.
No, I have a frequency chart on my wall. It's true. I have one.
One of those printouts. Yeah, of course, like taped to my desk.
I have a frequency chart on my wall. Yeah, but the second and third harmonics. That's why people think, oh my God, I can't write a tune that's that low. But the second and third harmonics, that's how you make a bass breathe. That's how you make something come alive and resonate even on like tiny laptop speakers. People ignore second, third, even fourth harmonics. So like you can go crazy. You can do tunes in E fine as long as you dial in the right harmonics. It's not a problem.
You say that, but there are gigs far too often where literally the E is just non-existent.
Exactly.
So I know you can still enjoy your harmonics, but relatively speaking.
But it's like when we were in Sydney, we couldn't even enjoy a G.
Yeah, for sure.
We had a gig in Sydney where the system was cut at like 80 hertz. Like it was a nightmare. But it's regardless though of where the key is, like you dial in your harmonics, it's going to resonate and you can hear it. There's no such thing as too low. That's you being lazy, bro.
Have you seen the when it comes to guitars, I need to get a 9-string so I can have a guitar in drop C sharp. But that's
I don't even know what that is.
No, one of my 7-strings now lives in drop F, and that's kind of fun. That's like Meshuggah tuning. That's really, but it's different though. It's not because you could distort a bass guitar, but the tonality of a guitar versus a bass is so much different. So just the thinner string on a shorter scale length, but tuned down that low, it's a lot more bitey.
Yeah, it's all about the harmonics, as you said. If you go low.
Yeah.
We're proving your point.
Especially
exactly.
A good tip if you're struggling with a sub that's too low is like always boost the third harmonic. That's one, yeah.
But it's my coffee.
What are you using to do that?
Just normal Pro Q, just EQ.
Does it have or you just look at the waveform, you see that's the third and you pop it up?
Yeah, Pro Q is great. Here I am promoting a plugin.
Maybe you'll get it for free?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so yeah, Pro Q has a thing where you hover over it and it will show you all the different harmonic peaks of the sound, and then you can just drag those peaks down.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. If you've got a sound that's really messy, but you like the character of it, it's like emphasis, like put emphasis on the actual key of that sound and boost every half. Let's see, if first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. of F, for instance, to make them ring out. because then the rest of it will naturally be suppressed, instead of having tones that are ambiguous. If you really like the character of a raw sound that's messy, that's a good way to bring it up, is by boosting, the harmonic that you want out of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I do that a lot. And I find, where in the past we tended to go way too overboard by taming sounds, you get a much better result of actually leaving the sound alone and just boosting what you want out of it. Just leave the rest to be natural, because you save yourself a hell of a lot of facing issues.
I should try that. Yeah, I'm a cutter.
Yeah.
Don't you get that horrible moment, though, when you've been cutting and you've been, what we used to call despiking, and then you hit bypass, and the sound is just like, oh, that's it, all the magic. You've literally been taking it away.
What a lot of people do wrong, though, is they actually just, and I was as guilty as anyone, is they solo the sound and then treat it. You always got to treat it in context. I mean, you're being stupid if you sit for an hour trying to get something sounding good on its own, because it might not relate at all. It might be some of those beautiful mistakes that makes everything gel together.
But you don't do like a lot of like de-peaking and making everything sound really flat and then adding a like really fat distortion.
It all depends what I'm after. Sometimes, yeah. But in most cases, any EQ decision is I mean, I'm the first to admit I use a spectrum analyzer a lot. And the moment I actually realised that the further up on the scale you go towards the treble, the quieter the peak has to be. All of a sudden, half your job is done. So you can look at a sound and you can think about where it wants to sit in the mix. And you can immediately, without even listening to the speakers, but by looking at the waveform, knowing where you need to boost and where you need to cut.
Yeah. Using a spectrum analyzer is like essential, I think.
Oh, mate, it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so you cannot get close to the result without it.
Right.
I'm so for them, and I've got the perfect one. Have you got the Nugan visualizer?
No.
It's the one. It is the one.
I don't use a specific plugin to do that. I just use the EQ I like to use is the DMG Audio Equilibrium,
right?
And that's got a spectrum analyzer in it. So I'll pull that up if I want to see it. But I don't use them. I'll use it when I hear a problem and I just need to like surgically see where it is. Then I'll use it. But most of the time, I don't pull them up that often, unless I always just neurotically check if there's low end in there that I can't hear.
Yeah. No, I religiously look at every single waveform and get rid of, because that low end, that's just wasted headroom. Just always get rid of it. There's no
everything
point.
is low cut.
Everything is low cut. Yeah. Unless I want it in there, it's going. And like you'd think in the context of things as well, you think, oh, well, this sounds really fat. It's got beautiful things down in like 150 hertz. But then you put it in the context and you put a low cut on it at 500 hertz and you realize, well, actually, I don't need any of it because it doesn't translate to the rest of it. So, wow, there I just gained myself a shitload of headroom.
The UK snares are generally the same frequency all the time.
No, it's very...
all depends on the key of the snare, really, and what we want out of it. Sometimes you want the bite to be in the 500-600s, or, sometimes you want like a natural sort of like funk break sound. Then it's different. Sometimes there's some beautiful rumble down in like 80, 90 hertz.
Yeah, sometimes you really don't want to cut that's a mistake a lot of people make, I think. It's like people just naturally cut all their drums.
They think they have to.
Right,
yeah.
But you really don't. It's like, it depends on the track.
And that source sounds always, for all of these things we're talking about, is the biggest deciding factor. Sonically, it's got to be halfway there.
I mean, I was assuming that you lot were like taking the low end out of a snare just so that you had to put it back in to give yourself more work. I mean, I'll do that with snares all day long. I'll be like, yeah, it's got a nice low end, and then I think there's room for improvement on that. I need to go through every snare of all 10,000 snares that I have in my drive and see if there's a better bottom half that I could add to this top half. And I just go around in circles all day long.
Yeah, mate. The thing is, though, like in 90, what I've learned the hard way, like you there, it's usually just about EQing what you got. It's always going to yield a better result unless you're after a layering effect. Like if you can keep your snare singular, I think at least I always get a better result from it.
They'll be a lot cleaner.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And the natural, you know, if it's a recorded hit as well, the feel of it will feel feel more natural to me than layering things. We rarely layer snares anymore. Very rarely.
Yeah. I used to layer 12 snares.
Same.
Yeah,
same.
everybody did. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, you know, you can layer like a really good reverb on top of a very short reverb, and it'll be like layering another snare.
Oh, I've got a fantastic tip. Let's say you've got a mono funk break that you love the sound of, but, you know, it's mono and it just doesn't stand up to sort of the image that we're now used to from modern sounding records. It's basically, if you find your favorite reverb or like a really good reverb, and you bounce all of your different drum hits wet with a good reverb, and you cut in the actual reverb, not necessarily at the starting point, just try it, and you layer just the width on top of every hit, and you volume tail it towards, you know, your original source. You can totally control the width of it. And you can also control the perceived dynamics and loudness instead of always only having that wet signal, because you can really just work on the room, and that's really handy, man. We do that loads, and all of a sudden breaks that you've written off come back to life because you can put the image exactly where you want it to.
Yeah, not just for breaks, you know.
Yeah,
also,
of course.
You know, every sound needs to sound like it's coming from a space, you know.
Yeah.
So reverb, it's like short reverb is essential, I think. And
I do like really dry sounds.
Yeah, I love dry sounds too, but layered on top of something wet, you know, underneath it, or, you know, unless I want to create some emptiness, you know, obviously.
Oh, that's cool. Unless I want to create some emptiness.
Yeah, you gotta.
That's cold.
Gotta have the emptiness.
That is cold.
The emptiness to have the light.
Going in the bunker, I'm creating emptiness. Dead room.
What are the hardest mix challenges you guys deal with now?
Unfortunately, I can see the RMS levels. It used to be -6, and it's like, yeah, if you could get it to -6, it's proper. Then it was 5.5. Then it was 5, and then it jumped from 5 to 3, and now it's, unless it's 3, I've got that niggling feeling, and it's only a number. And also, if your mix isn't right and you got too much low end, you're totally framing yourself. You know. You're totally framing yourself. If the bottom end is overwhelming, you're going to hit 3, but your track's going to be quieter than a -8. You know, but that is the soul. I struggle with it every day, and it gives me more pain than anything else. Yeah. Is fucking numbers.
And you've got guys like Moody Good who are like almost in the plus numbers. You know,
you are torturing yourself. Can you just like uncalibrate that so it doesn't really mean anything anymore?
You could go on the K scale, and we could all mix to whatever K14, and it's so quiet. But what's the fun in that?
I don't like the new scales. I like RMS. I understand what RMS is.
Yeah, I don't like Luff's nothing. I like RMS.
I don't like any of that.
Yeah. That's what I like. But you know, I think what we're sitting here and talking about is basically how can we get every mastering engineer out of a job? Because ultimately that's what we're doing. Because the way now, even when you send something to a record label, they expect it to be ready to be released. They expect, like, you're not, what do you mean mastering? We don't do that anymore. And the mastering engineers will sit there and in many cases they'll go, well, you know, you should leave that up to us. You guys don't know what you're doing. But I tell you what.
They don't say that anymore.
They don't say that anymore because in most cases we get our stuff back if we try it and it's flat.
Also, they've got 20 minutes to, you know...
Yeah.
Try the handful of...
Well, we sit there and sculpt for months.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand now.
For stuff for the dance floor, it's really pointless to get stuff mastered. But I think we're not really putting them out of a job, because I think for, like, you know, artist albums and...
Oh, yeah, I'm talking slightly genre specific here.
Right.
You know, if you're a rock band, you need an engineer and a mastering engineer. You know, it's different.
But yeah, for any kind of club music, I think it's really pointless. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. There's...
If you're not cutting vinyl.
Yeah, that's another story. And even now, like the vinyl...
I can think of some artists who still really benefit from it.
Of course. I mean, there's not
100%.
everyone who gives a shit about this stuff. Then there's some great artists like Calibre, like Spectra Soul, like within our
Break
genre.
even. Although actually, he's kind of like an example of what we're talking about, because it used to be that Break's tunes, Bo would just had a magic combination. They had
because
this
the way
unity,
he made them,
and the way he readdressed the tops, and it's just this amazing combo. But actually, Charlie now is sort of what he's sending you pre-mastering is sounding.
Yeah, it's sounding the way it should be.
As good as it should, almost.
I mean, the old ways are dying, and the new ways are it's like with anything, it's how it has to be. It's the cycle for us to evolve and to better ourselves, like the things that were the dark arts are not the dark arts anymore. It becomes second nature, and you have to master it before you can even, start sending out demos, kind of.
Yeah, that's master is in master your craft, not master.
yeah, for sure. But it's like, like we've talked a lot about one specific thing here, and there's going to be so many people disagreeing. But this is not a topic that's up for agreeing or disagreeing with. It's just a part of what we do, and it's a part. If it's something that interests a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with it. And in my opinion, the ones who bitch and moan about it are the ones who can't cut it.
Yeah. Drops mic.
Well, you're around -3. What do your tracks come out around usually?
It depends. I mean, one of my tracks recently was like -2, but
oh my god,
damn.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't go for
Well, I did an experiment.
Yeah.
Just sitting at home. I think I told Larry about this, and it's like, how loud can I possibly get it? By being just a couple of sounds, just to see what the meters are reading, and I got a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got plus, and I talked to Nick about it. He's like, yeah, I got plus ages ago. I was like, oh, sure.
Yeah, I was saying, I think I tried to put Moody Goods last thing through
really?
through an analyzer. I think it was almost reading plus.
But the thing is, that's crazy, because I thought 0 was
I don't understand physically how you have plus.
I know, that's where it ends, but no, it goes plus. And that's when I thought to myself, shit. It's never going to actually go plus.
You're going to go +3.
Yeah, and then the speaker technology gets better, then it will...
Jesus. Yeah, that's unhealthy, though.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, when you go plus, it's sound weapons. Yeah. It's too much.
I don't go above -8.
Oh, man, I'd love to be you for a week.
I can't.
But mind you, though, Matt, because your tracks are balanced, and you told me, I'm not going over -8, and I put you in an analyzer, and I see -6.3, and I call you out, and it's like, you really? It's like, I think you say that just to frame people into not competing. That's your little cheat trick right there. I put you straight in, and I was like, yeah, that's right. I took a screenshot even. He's like, you really took it a bit? Yeah, -6.3, mate.
But yeah, RMS level does not fucking matter at all. It's like...
No, it really doesn't. But my point was, Matt, is your stuff is really well balanced. So that's the key. If your mix is well balanced, it's going to sound loud, and numbers are not so important.
Yeah, I mean, I also know I can never get it nearly as loud as you guys do ever.
If you tried, you could.
No, I can't. Well, because the amount of elements that go into my productions are.
Ooh.
No, I'm trying to not sound like an asshole. No, but
you should see our arrangements, man.
Yeah.
I know. I'm saying there's a lot more different kinds of sounds all at the same time.
Playing at the same time, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then obviously, if you have 10 layers,
so that's the thing, and that's why I'm never able to get as loud as you guys are. Because it's just there's so many things competing all at the same time, and to hear everything. but I'm not trying to make these records to kill a club either. I'm doing this for my own personal satisfaction, so I'm not competing with anybody's loudness.
John, who are you competing with? Because you're playing Word with Friends.
I was looking up Luff's metering.
Respect.
Yeah.
No, he's got the proof. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. He's like, I'm learning things.
Yeah.
Loves metering.
Because I was like, a lot of people it's like, are you metering on RMS? And a lot of new dubstep kids are metering on Luffs. you know, and I'm like,
Okay.
Like, you know, and so I just went on a little wild tangent real quick.
Respect.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with. Actually, it had a little bit to do with the conversation, but not so much.
Respect. That's great.
You put love into words with friends.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think it would work. Yeah, no. It's like chode, you know. It's like in the dictionary, but like there's no definition for it. Like, you know.
Now, what I want to ask you a question, actually.
Yeah.
And you too, Matt, because there's a common ground between you two. It's like your tracks have just the most profound, crystal clear tops. And without sounding harsh. And I wonder, is it because... I mean... no. How do you achieve that sort of like clearness in the very tops, and without, you know, also being able to push the mix hard, because that's the first instance that's going to break after the sub?
Yeah. Firstly, I disagree that I think most of my tracks have horrible top end, but...
Hey, objective. I love your top.
Well, I don't know. I think my sound comes from being really surgical and also, really short reverbs and stuff like that, and sometimes bit crushing. And,
right, okay.
There's, great.
It's like the plugin I never touch.
Right.
I'm allergic to it.
I don't use it either.
I just found
Except
a great...
on shakers.
No.
It's great on shakers.
I found a great bit crusher that, like, you can use that doesn't sound like a bit crusher.
Decimort or something.
Decimort, right. Yeah, Decimort, you can, like, dither... You can dither the top end so you can create... Yeah, it's like you can create white noise, like, on top, but it's not... It's like
It's like
really...
push down sample to, like, the Logic one, you know?
Right.
Like the Logic, like, remember old Logic Bit Crusher?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
shit. Like, old Logic Bit Crusher is, like, the best bit crusher known to mankind.
Yeah.
Like, from Logic 5, you know? Like, that shit was
Logic...
sick.
I started on Logic 5. I love Logic 5.
Oh. You know, and everything, it sounds like...
Yeah, Camel Fat is another...
Yeah, Camel Crusher, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty close, too, yeah.
No, and a combination with Decimort and
But
Camel
Decimort,
Fat,
too,
it's like the
like,
two of them.
oh, man, that's my John.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
that's...
Oh, yeah.
That's how I get my top end.
Okay, fair enough. Matt.
Yeah.
So I don't do bit crushing. I'm also allergic to it.
Right.
I don't know. You asked me this a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know what it is that I do differently from you, because I just do what instinctually sounds right to me. And usually it's just, maybe I'm boosting a little high end around 8K, 10K, something like that on like hi-hats. But, you know, it's... I do a lot more cutting than I do boosting.
Because, I mean, you use a lot of field recordings in your stuff, and I always...
That's that too,
because you got that natural sort of crispiness in your top end from a lot of your sound. And I know you also make a lot of your percussion out of, like, found sounds and stuff that you've...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's not really that. I mean, that definitely has the kind of, like, the crunchiness to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that. I mean, because I notice, like, my mixes sound the same when they have no field recordings and when they have a lot.
So that means you've got an identity in your mix down, which is hard to do.
It's a mix on identity, and it's, you know...
There you go.
That's what,
you know what's funny, though? Like,
that's what he frames you guys to believe.
No, but
Minus 8. No, you're not.
No. You know what? Okay, well, I think that's also the metering I'm using, because I always look at the Slate FGX.
Well, that's that's wrong.
So
there's only one right one.
Right. Okay. So what isn't your right one? But no, it's fucked up actually. Then if I pull up like Isotope Ozone or whatever, it'll say I'm a full dB louder.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just go off of the Slate one because that's what I've been using and I like it. Yeah. Except for this new secret one, which is even better.
That's another thing. Every single monitoring plugin is completely different. You know?
Yeah.
It's like there is no one RMS level that you're gonna get.
It's cross-referencing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still have always done.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Sample Magic's Magic AB?
You were telling me about that.
Right.
Yeah.
This plugin is a game changer. You can load up 9 instances, you know, whether it's sounds or tracks, whatever, and you can set loop points on them. And you click on the one you want to play, and you got A, B buttons on your master. And, you know, the thing is when you're A-Bing with tracks, if you have a moment of silence, your ears reset, so you will not be able to judge what's wrong with the mix or how it can be improved. But with Magic A-B, you got a loop point at your favorite part of a track, and it instantly switches with no sound over to the one you got looping. Yeah, so you can hear immediately what's wrong because your ears won't have time to readjust. So there's no cut-off time. It's cheap, it's like $50.
So you can have.
It's amazing.
Let's say in the same key as the track you're working, or stylistically, one that's a little deeper, lighter breaks, one that's like heavyweight. Yeah,
it's just really, it's so clever, man. It's like
outside of your dog.
No, you stick it on the master. Stick it on the master after everything. Yeah.
That's so actually good. Really useful.
Yeah, man. It's amazing. It's literally the first plugin I load up in an arrangement. It's immediately, man.
What's it called?
It's called Magic A-B by Sample Magic. It's absolutely fantastic. You guys should endorse me.
Yeah. Drops mic again.
I think those kind of stupid, obvious plugins are the best sometimes. Just in terms of workflow, I feel like anything that improves workflow is better than anything clever in a weird way. Just simple shit. I mean, I used to love Camel Space. It's discontinued now.
Yeah.
Just an auto pan, you know. A really easy.
But it's in Logic now, but it's just auto pan.
I can't find my Camel Space go-to thing in Logic now. I mean,
they put Alchemy in there, and I think Logic or Apple bought them. So
they bought Alchemy,
yeah, they bought or
Camel Audio,
they bought everything in Camel Audio and just integrated the technology.
I still have Camel Fat and Camel Space.
Hell yeah, you got and Camel Crusher, dude. Let's go, yo, dude.
I managed to keep them.
It's sick. You know, one of my favorite plugins of all time. I don't know if you remember, it was called Delay Llama.
Yeah.
And it was just like a fucking, like a monk, just going it was like Formant, you know? Yeah. And it was like,
oh my God, it was all about llamas in the day. It was Winamp was about llamas.
Oh, yeah. This really kicks the llama's ass. Yo, Delay Llama was the shit. You know, other kind of useless plugins. What's that one that's God damn it! It's either Sonic Arts or Sonic Academy or something, and it's a tree.
Simplant.
I use that all the time.
Dude, that thing is
amazing. That is my modular synth.
Yeah. But it's
that's my random sound.
It's
maker
okay, I'm gonna add this leaf to the branch, and it's gonna make a noise.
Right.
And you're like, okay.
It's so intuitive.
it's like a free modular synth.
Yeah.
Because it did shit that you didn't expect.
Right.
But you just had to record it and then sample it afterwards.
Yeah, there's absolutely no control over it.
So did they discontinue that as well? Can you not get that?
No, you can still get it totally. And
Good.
But it's one of those plugins you're that looks really fucking cool. But it's like Delay Llama, you know, you're not going to put that in the tune.
Right. Yeah, but no, for percussive sounds,
Oh, you're right. You know, actually, you can make anything fit, right? You know, resample that hoe and fucking cut all the lows out, and you got yourself a party.
What's the last plugin you guys bought?
Damn, I think mine was one of those output contact libraries.
The output,
Fuck, I can't remember the name of it.
Reverse or something?
Not Reverse, the one before that. It's the one after Breathe. God damn. Signal. Thank you. Yeah, Signal. That thing's incredible.
Mine was...
Is that the parent?
Yeah, I refied my house and I bought Vienna Cube.
I think
kind of a big investment.
I think mine was just the Christmas the Black Friday purge. I got what did we get? I got the Fractal Audio Reverb on after Matt's recommendation. But I got Addictive Drums too with every library, and it's the biggest curse and blessing I've done in once because there's just too many drum kits.
That'll keep you busy for a while.
It's overwhelming to the point where I close it. I can't. But it's so good though. They've got this thing now on the drums, on the snare or the kicks, where you can insert digital waveforms on analog signal. So you can create a zap, instant transients.
Right.
It's like you automatically got the Mefia snap.
Wow.
At the start of a sound, before you even start processing it, you just dial in the waveform you want before your snare hits or the kick. So it's, that's just that whole little, how do I get that bite? Just that the magic's gone because you can just put the waveform straight in on top of but it's so good. Like you'll get instant bitey results immediately.
Is there there's like a waves one, right? That's like a match EQ or something like that.
You can do that in a lot of stuff, and like the Pro Q has it, Pro Q2 has it too. It's actually really useful. I always sort of discarded it, but I had DJ Zinc. He comes down to me once in a while just to get some point. He's actually one of the pioneers of our scene, and what I love about him is he's the first to admit that the youth is where you sort of learn things, and the younger generations are the ones who's going to have the edge. So he seeks it. So he comes down to mine once in a while. No, I'm not that young. I'm not just saying that. But he comes down to mine and we share things. He'll tell me things and I'll tell him things. And he told me about the match EQ thing because I've always discarded because I thought it was cheating. And I tried it, and it's absolutely incredibly useful because you got the blend button. You don't have to be all wet or all dry. You can just blend in the percentage, and it's saved a couple of drum kits lately. For me, is actually using Match EQ from kits I really like the sound of.
I've used it on vocals.
Oh, that's a good point.
When I've especially when I've had to record sessions on different days, and your voice sounds slightly different. Match EQing has been really effective to get them to gel together.
Ah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point.
No, I just noticed on myself, some days I'm breathier and some days I'm worse.
But you'll always be a diva, Matt.
Thanks all the guys involved. Calyx and T, Matt Zoe, Photek, John, 12th Planet. Thank you especially for hosting this. Next week, we have Heather Bright. If you don't know who Heather is, you've definitely heard her before and not known it. She's written for some of the biggest artists in the world, and she is an amazingly talented artist in her own right. So subscribe, tune in, and I hope you check it out. Until then, you can reach out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of them. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anyone you want on the show. Say hello, don't be a stranger. Thanks, guys.